Hello, everybody. This is Janice. Today is January the 27th, and I'm on here. I received a prophetic dream from the Most High this morning at what was that? It was around 4:47 this morning. So the Lord woke me up pretty early with this dream um, that needed to get out to reach you guys, to warn you guys about what is to come. So in this dream, I remember being outside and I remember looking up into the sky. And as I looked up into the sky, I noticed that I was able to see that it was like the solar system. And I was able to see everything, and everything was detailed and labeled. I think what got me the most was it should have been enough for me to just be able to see other planets in the sky. But what even more so than that was it everything was labeled. It was titles. It had little titles in the sky. So it was I knew that it was projected into the sky. Excuse me. And I began to look around and I began to like try to get people's attention, like, do y'all see that? Like, look up. Like, oh my goodness. Like, if you look closer, you can see, like, it even got something written underneath that this cannot be normal. So I start to, tell people that. And um, it was like some people was looking, but most of the people wasn't paying attention for some reason. And I just remember thinking that was odd, that stuck out. Like it was something that was being projected into the sky by man that was allowing us to see, and it wasn't real. I just knew it wasn't real. So then, from then, I just kind of walked off, shaking my head like, this is crazy. Like, what is this world coming to? And then I remember I seen this man, and he was stopped. He was stopped by another man, and this man had two daughters, and he was just kind of like walking around, just kind of like me, like people were just kind of walking. It was like a lot of people outside, and so this man ended up walking around, and he had his two daughters with him, and he was stopped by this other guy, and this other guy was like try to get him to see this project, and like try to get him to be interested in it. I guess it was just showing him. He was like, you know what? He was like, oh, well, take a look at this, and it looked like it was some like I don't know, it was some foreign object or creature. It was like a I don't know, it wasn't of this world. It was like an alien type thing, and it it was moving all by itself, and then like the man was looking at it, and then like this thing like got onto this man's face and began to spread out, began to spread all out on his face, and it was all black, and like it began to like try to sink into his skin, into his pores, and like in his mouth, it started to sink in through his mouth and his nose and eyes. And I think that man was like the one that had the daughters that this was happening to. He was like, like, oh, like what is this? And he started to like rip it with all his strength, like poking holes in his mouth, clearing his eyes, and pulling off his nose so he can breathe because he was suffocating. So what I got what I observed was I don't think that was supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. Something went wrong. It was like malfunctioning or something. And as that man began to rip it off, the other guy that was showing it to him began to freak out. Like, oh no, like what happened? What happened? What happened? And right when he said that, it was this alien slash demon that was real tall and like kind of skinny, but it was real tall, way taller than humans. And it came out with his long legs, and it was like walking over towards the two men, and you seen the guy that was showing it to him. He started to look fearful, like, like, oh my goodness, I'm about to get in trouble, like. And then once the demon walked all the way up on him, he just started blurting it out. He was like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. He destroyed it. And he was talking about the man that had the two daughters that ripped it off his face. Like, I'm thinking, like, what did you expect him to do? I would have ripped it off too if it was in my face trying to kill me. So, but obviously the other guy was like he was afraid of this demon. And so the demon took the man away, the one that was ripping it off the face. He took him away. He didn't take both of them away. He just took that one. And the man had his daughters with him. So the two little girls was there looking at their dad like, 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 dad, dad. And it was sad and it was crying. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I felt sorry for the little girls. So I'm like, who's getting ready to take care of these little girls? Where's the kids getting ready to go? Nobody cared. I'm looking around like, where's, justice did not exist at all. That's not the world it became. Um, I'm looking around because ooh, that feeling you get when you see when you see stuff like that. You're like, is someone gonna do something? That's kind of like how it was. But when I looked around, nobody was gonna do nothing. It's like no one had any authority to do anything because these demons was running everything. They was in charge of everything. They was like the head people. They were the managers. They were everything. Humans was like nothing. It didn't matter to them what we were, and so could nobody say anything. So I just remember I just shook my head and I walked off from there, and I was just like, what is this world coming to? Oh my goodness, like this is not how I remember this world. This world ain't even the same. And then I walked off from there, and then I noticed a guy in the midst of the crowd, and it was someone I knew. And I was getting ready to, like grab his attention and say hi. And then I noticed that there was two of them. There was two of him, and he's not a twin. So one was a clone. One was definitely a clone. It looked like he had just purchased it too, and I'm like, trying to like I didn't. Of course, I didn't walk up on him at that point because I'm now just kind of looking like, what is going on, and why is it two of them? And I can tell, I knew which one was him, and I knew which one was the clone, even though all of their features was identical. Every feature was identical. But the difference that I noticed was that obviously him, he was doing, he it looked like he was trying to work this clone. So I knew who was who. And then this clone, the skin was like a slightly lighter shade than his was, and it was a little dull too, just a tad bit. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't much, but I was just really, trying to focus in and figure out what was the difference, and if I could tell them apart. And that's just what I came up with. And so I can tell that it looked like he just purchased it, and he was like, I don't know, he had him like by the head, or the neck, back of the head area, and it looked like he was downloading all of his information into this thing. Like once this thing is complete, he will now be existing um, inside of this new body, this clone. And when I seen that, I'm like, oh my goodness! I start to see him talk to it, and look like he was programming it, and the clone started to talk back. Looked like it was trying to adjust to like him, and they were headed towards this elevator, and then once they approached the elevator, the thing was fully downloaded. Like you couldn't tell who was who, and I was just like, oh, what am I seeing here? Like, and I'm looking around, and when I start to look around me, it was normal. It was a new way of living. Like everything started to shift to that. Like it was advanced technology or something. Like it was like no different from people, having the latest cell phones, or and it was like, this isn't right. Like am I the only one that feel like this isn't right? And then it also made me think, like, who else, like, how many people are walking around and they're probably not even real? So that's what I had got in my dream. And then I end up waking up from that dream, and then I remember I was start to ask the Most High. I was like, well, what is it that you want me to tell your people from this dream? Like, what kind of message is it that you would like for me to share? And so um so the Most High, I start to get nervous. Actually, I start to doubt myself, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I can get back on YouTube and share this with nobody. I was like, you know what? ugh, I don't really know what people's getting ready to say about me. I don't know what they're gonna think, and I just kind of had like all my own doubts at the time, and I was just like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't, because Lord, you just gave me a prophetic dream that I shared yesterday with your people, and I mean, this is new for me, so I guess those feelings are normal, and so the Lord spoke to me. And the Lord has said to me, He said to me, do not worry about what you will say. It will be I that speak through you. Tell them what I showed you, what one day will come. And then He said to me, to you I will speak plain because you hear my voice. And then He gave me Moses. He told me to take a deeper look at Moses. And then He took me to Exodus, the chapters 4, 19, 33, and 34. And so, I started thanking the Most High just for being a great God that He is. And then I looked at the Strong Concordance for 554, and it meant strong, to wholly put off from oneself, is denoting separation from what is put off. So, the Most High was definitely speaking to me, and He wanted me to share that with you guys because I now know that it is already into effect, and it's not far fetched, it's not futuristic. This stuff is happening now. I didn't really know what to do, so this morning when I woke up that early, I was like, who am I going to talk to? I needed to talk to somebody. This was so much information for the Most High was giving me. And with this being new for me, I felt a little overwhelmed at first. And so I called a good friend, Tilden, called him this morning, and I began to share what the Most High showed me. And he asked me, he was like, wow, that's amazing. But did you get a chance to read those scriptures that the Lord sent you to? And I told him I didn't, because I just needed to call somebody right then. So, we went over the scriptures together, and the Lord was just really speaking. He was just really speaking. He has a way of reaching out to His people. And so I came across later on today, I had came across a website that talks about cloning and how they discovered some latest cloning technology this past week in 2018. And when I start to see that after I know the dream that the Lord gave me this morning, I was really blown away. So I would like for you guys also to check that out, so you can see and hear for yourselves as well. And also just make sure you just pray about everything. One thing I started doing, and I think that's how the Most High started talking to me and speaking with me even more so, is because everything that I hear, I don't believe everything I hear without first taking it up with the Most High, without taking it up to Elohim. And I asked Him, and I'm like, you know what, Lord, I came across this today. Could you give me my own, divine revelation of whatever it is, or confirmation? And He will speak to you. Ask, and He will speak to you. That's what I've done. I didn't, however, hear about any cloning before He gave me this dream. So this is new for me. He gave me that, and then I prayed about it afterwards. And then afterwards, He brought me to confirmations through reportings and testings and all kind of stuff. So I'm going to include that in the link below so you guys can check that out as well. But keep your eyes open, y'all. They doing something. They're definitely doing something. They're getting everybody. You're probably walking around, and it's going to be probably a clone of just about everybody. Like, this is really a thing, and it's getting ready to be like that, and it's really sad. And I just want everybody's eyes to be open. So I will be praying for you guys. I pray that everyone that watches this will be blessed and protected by the Most High. In Jesus' name.